Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. With me today is back the Welsh, clean-shaven and ready to go. And we've got some baseball stuff to talk about today. We got your betting stuff. We've got your prop bets. We got your DFS. We've also got your fantasy baseball. We've got some history and a whole lot more. But Welsh, we have to start here on a sour note, unfortunately, because people say to me all the time, Joe, why can't you enjoy what's going on with the New York Mets? Why can't you be happy with how well the Mets have done? And I inevitably respond back because I know it's always a matter of time before things go sideways. Last night, Max Scherzer was on the mound, felt a pull in his side, left the game, took himself out immediately. I know they're saying they're hoping it's not so bad and all these things, but Welsh, this is why we can't have nice things. So I, unfortunately, am here sitting and just miserable because Max Scherzer, who had been carrying this staff here, looks like he's headed for the IL. So what can you say to me to make me feel better?
I mean, there's always tomorrow. The sun will come out tomorrow. It's like Byron Buxton for me. You know, this is actually very similar to like when Byron Buxton goes down. Like, it's very upsetting, and when he's not in the lineup. And this has been baseball, though. This has been baseball all year. You know, it's like, hey, this is fun, this is good, and he's gone. He's gone. The Scherzer one is pretty brutal, though, for that entire Mets team. That is the heart and soul. And I don't know what else to tell you, my friend, except the sun will come out tomorrow.
Well, you have a beautiful voice. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Thanks.
What I will say is also this, that, you know, from a fantasy standpoint, in terms of our approach, I guess the one solace we could take is our approach going into this year was fade the top 10 pitchers.
Great point.
Look
Yeah,
for
great
all
point.
the other guys in that next column. Get two of those guys. Get a Pablo Lopez and a Giolito. Get a this guy and
Joe
that
Musgrove.
guy.
Get a Joe Musgrove and
Musgrove.
Get a Yu Darvish or whatever. Yeah, I don't have any Walker Buehlers in those struggles. Don't have any Max Scherzers. Don't really have many. I don't think I have any Shane Biebers. I've kind of avoided all of that, which, you know, push comes to shove, it'll be interesting to look at the end of the year on, you know, the return. If you took like, you know, the top 10 SPs and then you take the next 10 SPs, which is a little subjective, you know, how big of a overall production difference if we did averages, if we averaged out, you know, strikeouts and the ERA and stuff like that, like how big of a difference did you get drafting high starting pitchers than you did waiting a little bit? I'm not sure it would be so much different. Plus, if you add in those, you know, IL stints and missed days, might not be too big of a difference.
You might be correct. Maybe we'll have to get that Mayor ERA into check. This actually makes me feel nice. Before we even get into the headlines, look at this. We're closing in on 7,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel. They said it couldn't be done. So if you have it already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB. It's a different channel. Again, this is the MLB channel. We do just baseball here. I just did a buy low, sell high video yesterday. Got the waiver wire video, I think, comes out tomorrow morning. So very exciting things here. We've got a lot more than just the leading off. We're building out. We're branching out. It's an empire we're creating here. So besides the miserable, horrible, terrible, no good Max Scherzer news, let's get to some other things that might make me feel better. Nick Pivetta. How about that? 2-hitter against the Astros after the Astros hit 5,000 home runs the night before. 9 Ks, 1 earned run for Pivetta. He is now at a 4.22 ERA. Kenley Jansen blew his first save of the year with Keston Hiura walking things off for the Brewers with a 2-run dong.
Just like we all scripted. Keston Hiura blowing the Kenley Jansen save like we all thought. What is this, 2000?
More disappointing prospect, Keston Hiura or Jared Kelenic?
I mean, right now it's Kelenic. Kelenick's not in the majors.
Oh God. Oh, I don't know. I think either answer would have hurt my soul. But
I mean, Keston Hiura hurts. Like, that guy looked like such a good contact hitter. The one thing I would have bet on him, if it would have been like, oh, is he going to tap into his power? Is he going to run? I'd say, well, he's going to hit. Like, the guy's going to hit, and he's going to make that work for him. Nope, not whatsoever. But, you know, he's starting to roll a little bit. He's getting a little groove.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. All right, Jared Walsh homered twice. I was telling everybody that's the perfect guy to swap in the video. If you could make a trade for Taylor Ward and go get Jared Walsh and something else, go do that. Well, if you made that trade yesterday, you're doing okay. David Bednar fans 2 in his save. Pete Alonso homers, plates 4, and the Mets win despite losing Max Scherzer. So really, they lost. And CJ Cron becomes the first National League guy to hit the double-digit mark in homers. Congratulations, CJ. Good for you. Back to the injuries here, Welsh. So Chris Paddock is going to have a second Tommy John surgery. We didn't really talk about this yesterday. It's a huge bummer. I mean, the Padres really made out like gangbusters on this trade. This feels like one of those trades that happens in fantasy where you're like, yeah, I'll give you this pitcher for a closer or whatever. And then the pitcher goes on the IL a couple weeks later and you go, whoo, boy, dodge that bullet. Doesn't it kind of have that feeling right now?
We've all had that. I personally love Chris Paddock too. He's just he's a good dude. I think he was a great pitcher for a time. That third pitch stuff just absolutely killed him. And he was starting to find his own again. He was starting to find his command. That was a problem when you're like a fastball changeup guy. You're probably going to need a little bit more. And he was starting, and also you're going to need like pinpoint command. And he started to find that command again. And I don't know. We'd have to go back and look at the history of it, but how successful, have any pitcher been coming off a second Tommy John? Because I know we have a little bit of a history on it. I don't really recall many guys coming back successfully from 2 TJs. I can't remember who they are.
Fire have 2.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I feel like one of the Cubs guys had 2 Tommy Johns.
That sounds right. There's somebody in my brain, and I cannot, excuse me, I cannot unlock them right now, who had 2 Tommy Johns, and I believe it was like one in college or high school or something like that, and then one right early in their career. And I cannot unlock who that is right now, but I just don't feel like the success rate is super great. So I'm personally bummed for Paddock. I definitely had shares because he was dirt cheap. But what can you do?
And he looked pretty good when he got over to Minnesota. He was actually pitching well. The strikeouts
finding his command. They were working with him better. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism on the Padres pitching coaches as of late, like especially with what happened in the minors with Mackenzie Gore. They had multiple TJ guys, and maybe the Twins were doing something right, but then sucks.
Too late, too little, too late, unfortunately, there. And it's one of my favorite Beck songs from the 90s, 2 Tommy Johns and a microphone. That's one of my favorites.
You know what? I love that one, too. Mayor, by the way, pointed out Drew Rasmussen had 2 Tommy Johns. So that's
I did not realize
relatively, I didn't either. That's a pretty good success story for him returning, though. Guy can't hit 90 pitches. If literally a comet was coming to Earth and it required him to go 90, they would be like, well, it's been a good run.
Well, he's in the right place for that. So Chris Sawyer here, one of our Peanuts and Cracker Jacks, has a question here. Just traded Zach Gallen and Alec Thomas for Brandon Woodruff and Alejandro Kirk at a 12-team daily head-to-head points league. He loves you. He says he loves the Welsh.
Thank you, Chris.
He would like some input on this trade. Yeah. What do you think about this trade? Gallen and Alec Thomas, I'm assuming it's redraft here. I mean, look, you got Woodruff, who to me in head-to-head points, especially if the points favor the pitching side, I'd always have Woodruff every day of the week. I think he did pretty well here in this trade. I think it's a good trade for both sides, which is what you want at the end of the day.
Well, did he get he got the Gallen and Thomas side, correct? He
traded Gallen and Thomas for Woodruff, so got Woodruff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. I was just looking at the other day. I'm creating a sheet of just easy finding stats and stuff. Sometimes you go down the rabbit hole, you go on Fangraphs and you're just like, Well, I'm starting to find areas I want and I'm saving them. And one of them was I've been looking at pitchers that are successful through the first 3 innings. So I'm sorting and splitting the first 3 innings by innings 4, 5, and 6, just to kind of take a look and see who pops. One of the guys that's relatively alarming, I don't have it in front of me, is Brandon Woodruff, who had, I believe, top 5 worst ERA in baseball, innings 4, 5, and 6 right now, and a really horrific xFIP. Just kind of gets destroyed second time through the lineup, which I agree with you. I was surprised because there's names in there you would kind of expect. I really should have tried to pull this up. I didn't know we were going to talk about him, but
maybe
that
tomorrow
has me.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we can, and that has me worried a little bit on Woodruff, on the lack of success on the back end. We've seen him get a little bit wonky, and having that much of a blown up ERA, innings 4, 5, and 6. You're talking about completed games. I wouldn't hate if you had the Gallen side, to be honest with you, in that trade. Woodruff is the best player in the trade, but Gallen has proven himself pretty solid this year. Better team for Woodruff. But Alec Thomas is kind of a little bit of a dude. Kirk doesn't do much for me here. Thomas does a little bit. I think it's a very even trade, if you will.
Yeah,
But
and that's what you want. You get the best player, but the other side gets the best bulk, and that's a good trade. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
Me personally, I always want the better player. That's the RPV in me. By the
Yeah,
way,
me
also
too.
in the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks, JP is trolling me 2 weeks in a row. Joey P suggested a pitcher pickup, and then they landed on the IL. Yes, that's true. So it was
Are you bad
Paddock a
luck?
couple weeks ago, and then he had Tommy John and Jake Odorizzi last week. I said, look, pick him up, 2 starts, let's go.
Yeah,
and
why
then
not? Card it off.
the rest
Who's
is
your
history.
next one?
Card it
Why
off
don't
there.
you anoint the next
It's Jose
IL
Quintana, so somebody better put him in bubble wrap, please.
Oh, okay.
For the love of God, can we put that guy in bubble wrap and protect him? Let's go to some more about, can we talk about this? Albert Pujols last night goes in the top 10 for hits in the history of Major League Baseball, number 33-13 and 33-14. So he is now officially up there. Ahead of him still, we have, let's see, Carl Yastrzemski, Paul Molitor, Hannes Wagner. So it's a lot of famous names. Derek Jeter is at number 6. And I was scrolling through to see where Ichiro was. And I was like, I couldn't remember exactly how many Ichiro hits there were in the major leagues. In the major leagues, he had 3,089 hits
so
in his major league career.
Dude,
it's absurd. And it started at the age of 27. I just want to point that out for everybody.
That was the thing that got me. Actually, it's funny because they were, I was watching a broadcast the other day and they were doing this bit where they were like, they were talking about Pujols and 3,000. And they were saying, who are the next guys that are going to be able to get there? And they had shown, Altuve is kind of like 32 years old, kind of close. And they were talking about Machado. And Machado's got like 1,700. He's only 29 years old. And they're showing these 5 guys who are on this list, like who could be the next 3,000 hitter. And they're kind of arguing about it. And I had the same thing in my head. I'm looking and I go, my God, Ichiro at 27 reached 3,000 hits. And we're looking at these guys who have at 29 years old, 1,700, and maybe they'll get there. Ichiro was 2 years younger. And what Ichiro did was, it's one of those like hindsight type of things. We look back and we're like, wow, he was incredible. He really was.
Well, and Mike Mayer just threw up here that Ichiro had another 1,278 hits in Japan, which is what I was alluding to next. The point is, combined, he's at 4,367. And a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't count. It was Japan. He came up at 18 years old, this guy. Okay. So let's say, take away the first 80 games. Let's take away 80 hits or whatever he's got, right? After that, you got to realize the Japanese seasons are shorter by 30 games practically. So, he's playing 130 games, 135 games, whatever he's doing here. So even with that, if he had been playing in Major League Baseball since the age of, let's say, 20 or 21, I have almost zero doubt in my mind, barring a catastrophic injury, a fluke injury, that Ichiro wouldn't have the most hits in the history of baseball. And we'd look at him differently. When people say, who's the hit king? I know they say, well, Pete Rose, but I always say Ichiro. And I think it does matter. Professional baseball, you have over 4,000 hits in your career. And the people then make the argument about, well, he's not facing as good a pitching, all this stuff. That argument doesn't hold water because when the dude came over here, he broke the single season hit record. So don't tell me about how he couldn't hit major league pitching back. No, of course he could have.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not going to count the stuff he got in Japan like as a totality and be like he is the true. I think he would have been though. Like what he did there, awesome. Well, what he did here is incredible.
130 games in Japan every year. I mean,
he would have done it for sure. I'm not gonna look at him and go, oh well, he is the number 1 hit leader, because if I add those two together, it is a bit of a different game. But I don't think it's as dramatic as people think. And regardless of the point, back to your point, was that had he been here from the jump, he would probably have 200 or 300 hits on Pete Rose right now. And it is fascinating to look at, going back to Pujols for a second, that Pujols is definitely going to get to 10. But the question is can he get past Honus Wagner? Is he going to get another 100 hits? Because he's going to get to 10 easy. Carl Yastrzemski and Honus Wagner are within 1 hit of each other. So if he can get there, it's either he gets to 10 or he's 8. And then there's a little bit of a shot at maybe 7 or something like that. That's as high as Pujols is going to get.
Trent here with some great stats here. Ichiro had some of the most off-the-wall stats of all time baseball history. 2,000 hits in less than 10 seasons. Averaged 220 hits in his first 10 Major League Baseball seasons.
That's wild.
Just absolutely stunning there. Speaking of stunning and crazy baseball stories, I saw this on the internets yesterday. The Yankees cut 3rd-round pick Jake Sanford for allegedly stealing bats and gloves from his teammates and then trying to sell them online. He also allegedly scammed fans selling autographed equipment and never delivering it. I mean, is this the strangest story you've ever heard or
I
what?
told you, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about it on my other show, Prospect One. But like, as many people know, I really like autograph stuff. I got all this stuff here. I'm into memorabilia, and I follow some groups. I had actually seen this claim 4-ish months ago of people being like, first it was, hey, Jake Sanford is on these groups saying he's going to do his own signing, because people do private signings. I have a couple friends that
Sure,
are
right. I know
promoters,
you've been
and
a part of those. Like Julio's done one. Like they do
yeah,
private
yeah.
signings for people that come in.
Well, yeah, with agents, they cut deals, and these guys, they put these signings where you can send in and get stuff autographed. So he was doing like his own, and people are like, hey, check this out, da da da. And then all of a sudden, people started being like, hey, Sanford is scamming people. He's not doing it. And I kind of watched it from afar, and I was like, this is really interesting. And then it came out that he was not only scamming fans, he was like stealing teammates' stuff. This is a 3rd-round pick who had a really good year last year, who got a signing bonus, and people really liked. He was stealing these guys' stuff, and he was like going out and putting it on eBay or whatever the hell he was doing. This is wild. This is wild. He got a big signing bonus too. I don't understand it. It's a crazy story. I would love to like read 12 more articles about what the hell is going on. And by the way, he just signed with the Ottawa Frontiers baseball league. Like
Awesome.
he deleted all his social media and stuff, and then he went and signed and is playing, out of the States now.
What a weird thing to do. I mean, geez, I don't know,
So
man. It's
odd.
so strange. All right, let's get to some of the stat heroes of the day. Obviously, Nick Pivetta at the top of the list of pitchers. Who would have thought that against the Astros? 8 Ks, no walks, stunning complete game for him. Zach Wheeler was very good yesterday. 9 Ks, no walks for him, no earned, 7 innings. So Zach Wheeler clearly has found himself again. Do you think it was the shoulder at the beginning of the season and having that delay? Was that the problem? Or, I mean, do you think maybe it was just a fluky start to the season? What do you make of the early struggles of Wheeler, and now Wheeler looking very reminiscent of the guy who was dominating last year?
I think it was the injury stuff. If you remember, I have a vivid memory of the injuries in the preseason, because in Tout, he had just gotten hurt, and there was this kind of like interim period of, was he going to really be able to, was he going to miss time? What was going to happen? And then it was, he was going to throw in the spring training game. So I got him at a discount, and people were moving away from him. I think readjustments to what we saw in the offseason of, guys not being able to work out with teams, also suffering a little bit of injury that set him back. Maybe you got some weather stuff. I think all of those play in. I definitely am kind of tuned into the preseason injury setting him back a little bit, and then he's just right back at it, which I'm very happy about.
All right. Drew Rasmussen did not throw 100 pitches, 5 innings, no earned run, 7 Ks. Jordan Lyles was also good on the other side of the Yankee game. Who would have thought that? 8 Ks, 2 earned runs. Garrett Cole, 5 Ks, 2 earned over 7. Shohei Ohtani, 7 Ks, 2 earned runs. And Josiah Gray, 3 earned, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts for him. Austin Riley was my buy low this week in the article that I wrote. Or contributed to, I shouldn't say wrote, I contributed to over on FantasyPros.com. The power numbers were there. He was just struggling a little bit. Just buy Austin Riley anywhere you can, if you still can. Sure. Jazz Chisholm, 2 for 2 with a dinger. He continues to be red hot. Jared Walsh with the 2 home runs. Let's talk about Jazz Chisholm right now. Jazz Chisholm is electric. He is exciting to watch. He is great for the game. The different hair color, the speed, the helmet flying off when he rounds second base. He is everything I feel like we should be excited about for baseball. And I want more publicity for Jazz Chisholm, who is, I got to say, outperforming a lot of our expectations. Many of us were a little concerned they wouldn't be able to reach that level. He has done that. So everybody that was on Chisholm has absolutely been validated so far. Can he maintain this pace in any way, shape, or form, Walsh?
Well, I mean, that was the question. That my concern why I was fading on him this year was I put him in the Javi Baez camp, that he could be streaky. His walk rate isn't great. He swings through a whole bunch. He can be a big strikeout guy. That's a problem. He's always trying to pull. He is trying to pull and smash baseballs. He's got electric bat speed, just like Javi Baez. So my concern, and sometimes you do that when you look at these guys, you go, well, you can put 2 and 2 together and say, this type of style equals this type of style. So the results might be the same. And it was that, well, the team context, just kind of get out of it. He's been incredible. Can he maintain it? I don't know. That's the question here. Like, this is his problem, is he can get really strikeout heavy. He can get just swinging at every single pitch? And what will pitchers do to adjust to him? That's the other question we don't know yet. What needs to be adjusted to him as a hitter, and how is he going to react? At this point, though, I'm not going to even harp on that. Preseason, I was fade.
Did we see the adjustment last year already, Welsh, to Chisholm? Like,
yeah.
is this his readjustment to the league?
Yeah, well, no, and I think the beginning of this season is his readjustment to the league. So is there another? That's what I was saying. Is there another readjustment? And what is that right now? How do you change and attack this guy? And one of the ways you can do it, we can do it if we want to speculate, is go to like a baseball savant. We could look and see what the pitch mix is right now. Where is he really successful? And you might get analytical. Let's just say, as a hypothetical, because I'm not looking at it right now, but let's say he's hitting fastballs at a 350 clip right now, where last year he was hitting him at 280, and he's not really hitting any breaking pitches. You might see own team coaches start to say they want to attack him with more off-speed stuff out of the zone. And how is he going to adjust to that? All of that aside is to be the speculation. He's incredible right now. His power speed combo, he's electric. I think he's one of the better middle infield guys in baseball right now. I've boosted him up in my redraft ranks quite a bit because I think you have to, because he's a huge fantasy asset, and he's not showing any of the Javi Baez swings right now. He's just mashing.
Yeah, he is. Isaac Paredes, 2 home runs against his former organization. That must have felt good for him.
Yeah.
Luis Ariz had 4 runs scored and a steal yesterday. Cole Calhoun, another guy I talked about in the waiver wire video today, home run. He's hot right now. Look, he's a streaky player, and when he's running hot, I think he's rostered in less than 20% of leagues right now.
Sure.
If you need some help in the outfield, go grab him. Ty France, boy, he's been helpful. Home run, 2 RBIs, 3 for 5.
Good.
And MJ Melendez with a home run yesterday. Any of these other guys in the stat heroes and the hitters stick out to you, Welsh?
MJ Melendez has kind of cleaned up. I hate it. In TGFBI, 2-catcher league, I've had Melendez rostered. I still have him rostered, but I had him starting when he got called up because he's can play other spots and stuff. And then of course this week I took him out for just a solid bat because he wasn't doing much, and he connects with his first 2 major league homers. He's really getting the time, and he's going to get more continued time with Salvi Perez on the IL. So MJ Melendez is someone to continue watching because this is an opportunity right here for him to stick around for the long haul of the season. None of that was guaranteed. And this is the chance for him to long haul stay, even when Cam Gallagher comes back. If he continues to hit, he can hit a couple other spots. With Salvi coming back, I think MJ Melendez could be around for a bit. And, any of these guys that can play more than just a catcher are valuable.
All right, let's get to the stat zeros. Dalton Jeffries, 6 earned runs over 4 innings. Zach Davies, 5 earned runs over 4. Kirby Snead, 2/3 of an inning, 5 earned runs. Jake Walsh, no outs, 4 earned runs. That's the pinnacle. That's the chef's kiss of the stat zeros. Come in there, give up 2 hits, 4 earned runs, walk a guy, and not get an out. Eduardo Escobar is 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Boy, oh boy, the Escobar experiment is going to be coming to a halt pretty soon. Javier Baez, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Joey Bart, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Luis Robert, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Josh Bell, 0 for 5. Just a flat 0 for 5. Also 0 for 4, but no strikeouts. Juan Yepez, Christian Walker, Verdugo, Segura, and Robbie Grossman. What is going on with Robbie Grossman? Robbie Grossman had a breakout season last year, and I know he's been a bit of a journeyman. I know he's bounced around a little bit, but everything looked like the guy sort of turned a corner. It looked like a really nice value, and it is just completely disintegrated in people's hands this year. I have no shares, but I almost feel like I should send a greeting card or something to people who do, because
send it to Bogman. This was Bogman's
Bogman. I wouldn't even bring it up to him on the show.
No. It's his number 1 play. Even Jack in the chat, Bogman. It's Bogman's fault. This was like his number 1 targeted player. Every mock draft we did, loved it. I did not. I'm not a big Tigers outfield guy. I faded Akil Baddoo. I faded Robbie Grossman, and both have they've worked out quite well for me right now. But yeah, we should all send Bogman a card or an I'm sorry or a care package of some sorts. Maybe Omaha Steaks.
Maybe. I do love the Omaha Steaks. Now, Max Meyer has not been good recently.
No,
he hits the injured list with a nerve issue. So, there's something had to be up. We talked about it earlier in the week. Look, just hold for now. Nerve issues can always be scary. I don't know how much detail we've gotten yet on this. But I see here that about 14 minutes ago, RotoWire and a couple other places, CBS, are reporting. So he's on the IL, which, again, you don't want to see the guy hurt, but at least it
No.
explains what was going on here.
Yeah,
I
I
would
didn't hear
be
the IL
inclined to
thing.
hold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. And I hadn't heard about the IL thing. I was worried because he was pretty walk heavy in his last start and he's got
Mhm.
lit up. But it also, this tells you the story. This tells you what's going on. The problem is in what capacity do you hold? How long is this going to linger? How long does it take him to get back? I would say, let's assume this is like a normal-ish stint of IL and then the return period. I think you're at least 3 weeks before there's a real possibility that he would
Mhm.
be called up. So if you're just sitting him on a bench, this is your call. This is your call as a fantasy owner.
Yeah.
What do you do? If you've got NA spots, this is fantastic, but you might be upwards of a month before you actually now get max. And I don't know how much that's going to be worth. It's again, depending on your roster size or how aggressive people are, because this could be one of those situations you dump them and everybody swoops them up if they've got roster
Yeah,
spots.
that's
So
my fear.
I
If you
don't think
dump
it's
him, that everybody
definitive
all of a
that you
sudden
keep
gets
him.
him.
Yeah, I just don't think it's definitive that you
You're right.
keep him at this point. There's context to it.
It's a roster to roster issue. I definitely agree with that. And if
Yes.
you have questions about that, you can always ask. That's the perfect thing on Discord to ask us. When you go over to Discord and you join that
Yeah,
at
exactly.
fantasypros.com/chat, these are the kind of things we could talk it out with your roster. All right, let's go to the home run board. And there you go. Night King of the North at 14.
Wow.
DeBlum at 14. And all I do is win at 13. Larry C up to 13 also. Larry C called Mike Trout yesterday. And Delgadillo with Justin Turner moved up to 11. So nice job there by my boy Adele. Let's go to the betting pros section here. And of course, these are from the prop bet cheat sheet. But if you're going to make a wager, we strongly encourage you to use the promo code leading off at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Bet $10, win 200 on any game, regardless of the outcome, when you sign up today and download the BetMGM app or go to betmgm.com. Bet responsibly. And by betting responsibly, I mean make sure you use the promo code leading off. But in all seriously, bet responsibly. It's fun. But again, have some discipline with it and take some free money. We're giving it to you over at BetMGM with the promo
That
code leading off.
that
I've
crown
got
is
a lot
so
of fun
clean,
things
by the
here.
way. That crown is just
What's
so
that?
clean. That crown is so clean. It's
Isn't
just
it?
so
It's
pretty.
plastic.
Just point
It
out.
looks good, but it's completely
Looks right. Yeah,
plastic.
no, I can tell it's plastic, but it's just a very clean. It looks good on your head when you do the read, Joe.
I
That's what
said
I'm
I'm
trying to tell
very
you.
regal. I said just generally speaking,
You are very
I have
regal.
very kingly features. It's a very strong,
Yeah.
funny looking nose.
Yeah, you
You
do. You
know,
got the nose, you got kind of the
yeah.
eyebrow. Yeah, you are very regal, very much.
Yeah, and it covers up my giant bald head, which is also helpful. George Kirby tonight over on BetMGM. The strikeout prop at -156 is the juice, but it's 3.5. 3.5. That sounds like an easy one to me. Aaron Judge at total bases 1.5. The juice is -115. Bryce Harper's got even money on the same total base prop at 1.5. Same with Stanton is also even. Corey Seager 1.5 total bases at +130 tonight against Framber Valdez in Houston. Then you got Cedric Mullins at +125 at the total base prop at 1.5. You've got Austin Hayes at 1.5, also a +120 against Jordan Montgomery, both of those guys. And then Kyle Tucker, total bases against Otto, who I believe is the bus driver from The Simpsons at 1.5 +110. Those are all at BetMGM. So go bet them today. Welsh, did you have anything that stuck out to you on this?
Well, I really like the Kirby one. That's one that
Mhm.
I'm gonna play. I got to tell you, like Judge I want to play it every single day. Judge, I want to play every single day. There's a part of me that has this like it's gonna stop at some point, but he is so hot right now. I think it's always gonna stand out in any projection system. Look for hit ones too. I actually played a that was a really nice one. They had just singular one hit for Stanton and Alonso yesterday. And Stanton didn't play, and then Alonso got the homer, and I won the bet. I didn't win a whole bunch, but I put those two together. But it was just one hit. So look for those on your book if they're giving it, because if you take any of those two hot guys, you can put those together. And I liked that one. Those are a couple guys. Pete Alonso, I like today. I would probably play it at 1.5 total bases. The other one is Zach Gallen. So Zach Gallen strikeouts, Cubs bottom 25, one of the the 6 or 7 worst teams as far as strikeouts go. I think they average around 9 a game. Zach Gallen's at 5.5 on strikeouts. So I might put Gallen and Kirby together in a little strikeout prop for some extra juice and play that out.
There you go. Jesse L just informed us Melons is out today. So that's very disappointing because I always look at these first thing in the morning, load them up into the show sheet, but now Mullins is not in the lineup. So
I hate
you can
that.
scratch that one off your list. It's the worst, especially when you're like, ooh, that's a really good one. Nope, he's not there. DFS, you could put Kirby together on DK along with Framber Valdez or Gallen. Valdez is just 8.5. Kirby's just 7.8. Rich Hill is real cheap at 6.5. I feel like it's a trap, but I'm curious. But I would stick with Framber Valdez and Kirby. I think that's a good situation there. If you want to go Gallen and Valdez, you can on DK. On the single pitcher site, Kirby's 8.5 on FanDuel. Gallen is 10.6. I'd rather split the difference and just go with Framber Valdez at 9.7. Then it's stack up Houston. Speaking of Houston, that's where I'm going for my home run call tonight with Jordan Alvarez. Going to go back to what works. I'm at 6. Welsh, where are you going for your home run call? Who's going yard?
Well, I mentioned it. I'm going to go with Mr. Pete Alonso, who doesn't have a big old track record against Dakota Hudson, but he is hitting 400 against him. He did it last night. We go back to backs, though. Let's see if the team is hyper aggressive. Somebody, I think Go Card said, can we get a prop bet on does Pete get hit by a pitch? But I'm going to go with Mr. Pete Alonso today.
There you go. Who's Mike Mayer got today?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Oh, does he?
Luis Robert is where he's going today. So there you have it. If you want to make a home run call, go join our Discord over at fantasypros.com/chat. Free to join. But when you're a premium subscriber, you can hang out in the home run channel and make your picks. You can also be part of stages, be part of the AMA channels where Welsh is, where I am, where we take questions from everybody and we have some nice conversations about that. And don't forget betmgm.com or the BetMGM app. Use that promo code leading off. And lastly, let's get this number to 7K. We can do this. We've got goals here. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because, again, it's not just the show now. We're doing some of these other side videos for the waiver wire, for buy low, sell high. We're going to start that now as a weekly thing. So click that little bell for notifications when you subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.